Elden Ring. Based on a few reviews I've heard, Elden Ring is the first game to be compared to Breath of the Wild because it actually stokes the same sense of adventure as Breath of the Wild does. Um, from what I've heard, the open world feels varied and lived in. Your map isn't cluttered with a bunch of icons, and there's always something interesting in the horizon that draws your eye. Hopefully, more open world games. I say it all the time. Start to, take from Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild and just makes it more adventurous and gives you less targeted things you need to do and just lets you explore the wild. And you will always see something like through level design. Your eye is always you're always guided towards quest and story missions, and you aren't just looking for icons and following things on maps. That's how I think open world should work. I still haven't even played Breath of the Wild though. I still don't have a Switch. One day I'm gonna wait for my OLEDs to be back in stock. But yeah, I also watched RDC World play Elden Ring, and that's what really made me want to play it because they aren't the best at games, but they were doing decent. So I was like, okay, if they're doing decent, I'll probably be decent at the game. And playing Sifu kind of makes me want to play Sekiro because the kind of like parrying system and the structure bar and all of that reminded me of Sekiro. And I go, you know what? A lot of people think Sifu is really hard, and I didn't think it was that hard, like at all. So maybe I'll be good at Sekiro, and I just don't know. But yeah, you can talk about your Elden Ring experience.
Okay, so something I love about Elden Ring off the bat, but also don't love. It's kind of hard to follow side quests because like you'll go talk to a character and they'll mention something. Like, there's this one character where she mentions like, oh, my men got taken by the spider and beheaded and yada yada yada. And then just like the conversation ended. I was like, okay, so I keep walking and then end my game, go off to work. Next day, I'm watching YouTube while I'm making coffee, watching an Elden Ring video about quests. And apparently, that's one of the biggest side quests in the game. And I didn't even realize it was a side quest. And you have to go to the round table or the round hole, the keep, whatever like the hub area is. You have to go there and go talk to a specific NPC a certain amount of times. And I'm like, where was the indication that I had to do that?
Yeah, I've heard that criticism a lot for the game, that the quest design is strange and not very intuitive, and it leaves you confused more often than not.
It is, and I agree with that 100%. I kind of like it because it is a From Software style game, and it's a very From Software style way of doing quest
I
design.
think there's a way to like try to naturally guide you towards quest that isn't so obtuse. Like you still want them to be able to know that they're going on a quest.
Yeah, I absolutely. I feel like Destiny does a decent job of combining the two because at the very least there will be like something in your like in your menu and in your objectives telling you that you have something to do rather than just being like you talk to an NPC and now you have a quest like secretly in your repertoire that you don't even know about. Like that's I don't know, but at the same time I don't necessarily hate it. I feel like I talk about this a lot. I feel like I want video games to really reward you for being like using your mind and using your brain and like figuring stuff out. And I feel like not a lot of them do. And this game is heavy on leaving you to figure it out yourself. So, but almost to an unfair and unforgiving degree. But I really like this game. Again, the first story boss is apparently one of the most ridiculous bosses in the game. And I just thought I was terrible at the game, but apparently not. Like it got to the point where From Software had to put there are little summoning areas where you can summon certain NPCs or even your friends, and they put down a little summoning thing for an NPC because it was so hard, so many people were dying and losing. They were like, okay, well here's an NPC, and that NPC still sucks. Roger or whatever his name is, he sucks, or at least the one that helps me out in this boss fight does. He dies in like the first 5 minutes.
I saw
Or the
this.
first
Like I kept hearing a lot of people saying that one of the boss you fights is basically just Ganon, and I was like, what? And then I saw it. I saw a very brief clip of someone fighting him, and I was like, that is Ganon. But
I haven't gotten that far yet, so maybe it is, unless it's one of the world bosses, in which case I could probably find it. But like, I don't know.
It was. I recognize the character as being someone who appeared in one of the Elden Ring trailers, but I don't want to spoil
Then he's
it.
probably a story boss.